we're suddenly seeing signs that the Biden White House has been taken over by the Biden campaign. Now, given how poorly Biden's doing, the angle imagines that the woman behind the curtain, Dr. Jill, is demanding that people do a better job for her husband, which means rotating out the farm team for the bigger hitters with better messaging. Now, for many months, the president has been frustrated that he's not getting credit for the great economy because they can't admit their massive spending drove the high prices that caused inflation. The Biden campaign decided it would help if they used other words instead. Take out the in and add greed and shrink. They don't realize that he's actually attacking his own economy. Now, companies shrink products not for fun. It's not fun to do that, but they do it because if they don't, they have to raise prices. It's basic economics, kids.
We are going to return to the shrinkflation, but I love that graphic there where he's on the Saving Private Ryan sort of thing. I love that, like, even when they're making jokes, Biden's one of the allies and they're the bad guys. The guys literally fighting the Nazis are the ones that we should mock. So just like Donald Trump mocking the soldiers there, but let's talk about this because she's saying inflation is bad, right? I mean, that's why the economy is bad. So theoretically, Biden should be against the inflation. He should try to rein it in. But like in every other instance over the past few years, anything that is done or even proposed to rein in inflation, they're against. So let's be clear. We're gonna give you what Joe Biden said about shrinkflation, but she is on the side of the corporations that are screwing over consumers. Here is the thing that Joe Biden said that made her so angry.
The Super Bowl Sunday. If you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two while watching the big game. You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. A bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're still charging it just as much. And as an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size, but not in price. I've had enough of what they call shrinkflation. It's a ripoff. Some companies are trying to pull a fast one by shrinking the products little by little and hoping you won't notice. Give me a break. The American public is tired of being played for suckers. I'm calling on companies to put a stop to this. Let's make sure businesses do the right thing now.
And you used to be able to get a Hershey bar for a nickel. No, but jokes aside, he's right. They do that. It's terrible. So look, there's a variety of reasons that inflation happened, but we've already known. We've adjudicated it. The studies have come in. A lot of it was just baked in extra profit for the corporations. They jacked up the price of things because they're like, you know, people are talking about supply chain issues. I bet we can charge a lot more and make a lot more. Because after all, it's not like they raised the prices and then they also raised their costs were up. Their literal profits were up. And the right, including Fox News, has to pretend that they're opposed to that, but they don't ever want anything done to raise it in, to rein that in. You remember, they didn't want anything done to lower the cost of gas. They argued against it. In this case, and it's not even her, Rachel Campos Duffy has a thing about how he's being mean to big food or whatever. So they want to pretend that they're on the side of the consumers, but they don't want the prices to go down. They're lining up with the corporations that are screwing people over to say, no, they should be able to remove some of the chips from a bag or whatever and charge you the same amount. And let's bear in mind, they're not just removing some of the product, they're also jacking up the price at the same time. You're paying more for literally yet less. They don't want anything to be done. In fact, they don't even want prominent politicians to point out that this is a thing that's happening. And this is the fundamental magic trick of Fox News, that they want to pretend to be populist. They want to pretend to line up on the side of the working class, of the consumers who are legitimately being screwed over by the status quo. But every single time something is proposed to do something about it, oh, what do you know? They've found a tricky way to line up with the corporations that are screwing you over. When are their audience going to realize the game that is being played? Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.